everyone. Welcome to Facebook Live. I am just going to wait and see if anybody is here. We'll wait until people can sign in. Holler if you're here. Holler if you can see anything. All right, great. Welcome to Facebook Live. Sometimes I feel like the camera doesn't catch what we're showing so far away. Hey, Gina. We probably will record this, so if you're watching the recording, sometimes we interact with our live fans. So, hey, Ro. All right, we're good to go. So, this is Facebook Live, and we're doing a special little Christmas ornament feature. I'm Sharon, and I will be your hostess today. Carrie will be joining as our moderator, so if you have questions about any of the techniques or the Prima products, just holler and she should be able to catch this. If not, these ornaments were featured on our blog yesterday. I just unclipped my little ornament here. We had a big feature on Christmas ornaments yesterday on the Prima blog, and it's prima.typepad.com, and you can get the whole list of products, plus you got to go check out the other ornaments created by our talented team. Seriously, I work with our team, and I just think they're the best in the world. They inspire me every day. All right, so I don't want to keep you forever. I know we're all busy with the holidays coming upon us. So what I'm going to do today is just show you some of the basic techniques for creating these Christmas ornaments. And these are very versatile. You can make them any color you want. And I'll show you a couple different ways to create these medallions. So you don't need to go out and buy special things for it. Unless you don't have the Prima stuff. And then, of course, you need to go buy that because these are must-haves. Okay, so if you have a question, leave it in the comments. Carrie will get to it, or I'll get to it as soon as I'm done. I try to scroll back through the comments and answer questions. Now, these would make a great project for you to do with your children, if you have a bit of patience, for teachers' gifts. They really cost hardly anything. Pick the doodads you have lying around or open packages of Prima and doll them up with that. That's what I did. I picked little, this is a memory hardware diamond. I stuck a rose in the middle, and I had this is a Ranger bauble, but we also have some Prima chandelier adornments that you could add on there. I keep a little container of baubles and bits and pieces, and I pulled from that to just decorate these. Okay, so let's go ahead. I want to show you the supplies I used. First thing are doilies. I got a thing for doilies, and these, you can find these anywhere, right? White, gold, silver. You pick the colors that work with your Christmas tree or the colors you love. Now, these are 4-inch, and I would say these are the best size. This one's 5-inch, and as you can tell, it does make makes a bigger ornament, but I tell you, it looks really cute on the tree. And you can turn these around. So you could layer this one and have just a touch of gold peeking out if you think that's too much gold. And use the back side. So that's what I'm going to do. These I bought online or in a store, and these right here are from Prima. They have the 4-inch doilies, and they're very economical. You get, I forget, Carrie, how many? Maybe 100 in a pack. Oh, they're amazing. But so, gather up some 4-inch and some 5-inch doilies, maybe even 3-inch if you can find some. I couldn't, so what I did is I took out my Prima doily dies. If you're going to invest in one thing, you need a Prima doily die. I use this all the time. Now, normally I use it on copy paper because it creates a very light, delicate doily, right? Like a real doily is. However, for this project, I picked watercolor paper, and I love our Bloom Girl watercolor paper pad. It's the perfect thickness. Now, it can be a bit harder to get through. Some people have problems with intricate dies. So just to tell you, I doubled my paper and I really got an arm workout with my Sizzix. But this is the shim that I used. And I'm going to save that because it embossed it. It's gorgeous. I love it. So I got one cut and one embossed from the same pass. Okay, and I love this one because it looks like a snowflake, but you could easily take any of the doilies, and these layer really nicely then with the foil. All right, so we got our doilies. We have our doily dies. What else did we use? We used some waxes. These are amazing, and this is where you can really pull the colors that you use in your house. If you use gold or silver or copper, we have the waxes that will match. And if you want to pull in a little bit of color, there are colored waxes too, which I didn't do on my original 2 doilies, but I might do on this one. All right, so we'll show you how to use those, just to add a little bit of spruce metallic finish. And then we have glitter. Now, you gotta have glitter if you're gonna do a Christmas ornament. So, these come in packs of 6, I believe. You can get these at craft stores, big box stores, etc. So I picked out gold, silver, and white, so it has a nice crystally effect, okay? So you need glitter. And the other thing you want are our Prima IOD molds. Now, these are amazing, and they're not just for home decor. I use these all the time. So I want to show you, you know you can use paper clay in these. And Carrie just did Facebook Live on our redesign group, and she used paper clay and pressed in and showed you how to make ornaments that use the round balls. Now, you can also use, what's that clay in the store? The kids' clay. I use some to make these ornaments, and you bake them. You can use that as well, because you can bake it then. It's like a fine mold clay. I know I'm messing up the name. You can buy little tubs of that. But you can also use, now this is a Porcelaina, and if you're international, sometimes we mention things we have in the States and it frustrates you guys. This I bought in Spain. It's cold Porcelaina, but you can also get it in the States. I found some on Etsy. Just look up Porcelaina, and what I'm going to do is, it's similar to paper clay, yet it doesn't crack when it dries. It won't create any cracks or crackles, so you get what you see. So I'm just going to take a ball. It's very soft and pliable, and I'm going to press it in. This is our medallion mold, and Carrie, normally I write the numbers on, and I didn't. Oh, I want this one right here. Now, the numbers are on the blog because I use this for the ornaments, so I tried to write down all my ingredients and products. And I'm just going to press this in. Super easy to use, and this is why I think it would be fun with kids. And I have a little bit too much, so I can either like scrape part of this off. I have a thing for room keys too. I really like using those. And kind of just get the extra off. We don't want to waste it. And then make sure it's pressed nice and neat. I'm just going to wrap up my clay because they dry out when they're air dry, right? They're going to dry out fast. All right. I just want to make sure my edges look good. And this, when I release this, it reminds me of like when I bake and you go around and you tap your cake pan on all the sides to make sure you're getting a nice clean release. That's what I would do with this. Just release all the edges. And you know, with any of these clays, if something screws up, you just roll it and start again. And there you go. It is just perfect. Now, what I like to do is if I got any overhang, any little extra, I just find a little poker tool and I go in there and just kind of get rid of those extra little pieces. And you can do that with your fingernail if you want. I got this cute little poker tool that I always have out because I'm always making doilies. So I just am going to use that for this purpose. Look at that. It's good to go. Now, let's say you don't have porcelana, you don't have paper clay. What else could you use? Let me show you, and I've shared this before. You can use a hot glue gun. And you want to get one of the bigger ones because your finger will get quite the workout with the little glue sticks. Get a bigger one, it's going to save you so much hassle. The glue gun can heat up more of the glue, so then when you're working in these bigger molds, you have enough glue heated up to fill it. The little one isn't going to do that, okay? Someone mentioned Barcelona. That's exactly where I bought my porcelana. So they call it pasta de porcelana fria. And in these states, it's just cold porcelana, and you can buy it. I got mine on Etsy. You can get it almost anywhere. All right, so I'm going to use a hot glue gun, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and start filling this, and then, you know, just like in the cooking shows, in a couple minutes, I'm going to pop it out of the oven, and it's going to be perfect. I like to spin my mold so that my glue is shooting into those crevices. I notice if I don't spin it, I miss places because I'm not paying attention. And there you go. It's good to go. It's all melted in there. And you can go over, it's okay, because with hot glue you can cut that off or tear it off later. Now if you screw up and you miss a hole, or you find later after it cooled you missed a spot, you can go in and put more hot glue in there and use your heat gun to melt it together. It's almost fail-proof. So we're going to set this aside to cool. And I'm going to show you one that I've already done. So this is cooled now, and all you do is pop it out, just like the clay. It's very flexible and lightweight. And if you have any extra little pieces, you can go in with a scissors, or you can even use a heat gun to kind of get rid of those little threads. And sometimes, if you really put in too much glue, you're going to need a scissors to trim it. And that is good to go, okay? Any questions on the molds? The sparkly glue sticks someone mentioned, they would be so fun for this. That is a great tip right there. All right, so I already pressed some out this morning. They're still not dry, but you can use a heat gun. And I actually made my other ones when they were still wet and just glued them onto the ornament. Because it was watercolor paper, it didn't matter. If you do use the clear glue, let me just show you a tip. This was clear glue, so you can, I want to show you the before and after. I just colored it with, you can use gesso or clear paint or acrylic paint, just so you don't have that clear hot glue look. You want to make it look like it's more expensive, okay? So let's go ahead and start. So I already layered, I have a 5-inch doily and then a 4-inch doily and then my watercolor paper doily, and I just glued it all together. And when you start, find a good place to hang your hook. And you don't want to hang your hook just through one layer. I just poke it through. This is a good spot right here because I can go through kind of all 3 layers. So keep that in mind so it hangs nicely. So I'm just going to set it there. One other tip is you also want to put a doily on the back just in case your ornament spins around on the tree. It'll look finished that way, and it gives it a little bit more sturdiness. All right. How are you guys doing? Okay, what we're going to do now is glue one of the porcelana shapes onto our doily. I just got to grab some glue here. So let's do this one. I love these. These 2 molds, well, any of the medallions will work and any of the round shapes. Actually, I'm going to put the glue on here. My shape is still a bit wet, so I want to make sure the glue gets on the paper. And then I'm just gonna plop this on here. Make sure it's centered. This is dried now for a couple of hours, so the top is, I'm not gonna mess it up too much by pressing on it. So I would do a ton of those molds and set them aside to dry on a flat surface, and then you can make ornaments all at once with your kids and they won't be, you know, impatiently trying to finish everything. All right, so we got that, and now in my instructions, I'm gonna get some paper towel out here because we're gonna get a little bit messy. You guys like that, right? Let's go ahead and just put this on some paper towel. In my instructions, we're gonna add some gesso, and I'll tell you why in just one second. So just in case your whites are all different, like from the doily and from the clay you used, or say you used hot glue, I'm just gonna try and get them a little bit more uniform. So I'm gonna just squirt out a bit of gesso. And I did thin it with water last time. This gesso is super thick, so if you need to do that, just squirt some out on the side of your table and get a little bit of water. And this is, the whole point is to get the gesso down into those designs and just make it look very white and pretty. And then you can spread the gesso out onto the white snowflake. I didn't really cover up much of the gold, so if you did, you can go in there and dab that off. Now, while it's still wet, I went in and started sprinkling with my glitter. And that's where we get messy, because we're going to sprinkle the whole thing. And because the gesso's wet, it's going to stick. So this, your kids are gonna love this part if you let them. And I would say that the Finnabair dispenser doesn't let too much out, so it works nicely with children. And just like that, look at what we have. Now, if you hate glitter coming off, I would let this dry, and then I would just brush it lightly with gloss gel. It will seal it all. Okay, so that it's not rubbing off every time you hang it up on a Christmas tree. So now you want to add your baubles and your hooks, and I just want to show you. I'm not going to do it all because I want to kind of play with some of the medallions some more. But to finish this one off, let me show you some of the things that would be perfect for it. Well, for one, I love adding flowers, and I think a flower right in the center would be gorgeous on this. Or you could tuck some around on the doily tips. Really cute. I was trying to go for some things that don't add a lot of weight. But these little diamonds are Frank Garcia's. They're in the Memory Hardware line. These are perfect for hiding the hole at the top. So when you're, let me just grab the one I did already. You punch your hole, you loop it in there, and then you see that diamond? It hangs down and kind of hides that whole area. Plus it dangles, so it moves, and that's always cute when you have it on the tree. And you know, you get a ton in the package, so I used one and it just added so much. So that's a great thing to use. These are chandelier adornments. And I tell you, one package is going to make hundreds of these. You can cut these apart and use the little loops and the little crystals and dangle them. What I did is I dangled them on the bottom of this one. And they're so pretty because they catch the tree lights and they dangle. So they're moving if the tree moves or the kids bump it. And it's just adorable. There's also little crowns in the Memory Hardware line. These are metal lotuses that are Finnabair, and those are adorable. I would cover them with gesso and put them in the middle and drop a pearl in there. Wouldn't that be cute? We also have these clip-on Embellishments, and I have the number for this, Carrie, 583576. Those, if you add a little clip at the bottom of your doily, you just dangle one of these on and you're good to go. So super fast and easy. These can also be dangled on the bottom, and these are in that chandelier adornments set that Prima has. So lots of options. Dig out your little tray where you collect all your extras, and that's what makes these so fun, because you don't need to spend a lot of money on these. You can use the little bits and pieces you already have, and then just get some Christmas tree hooks and add to the top. And there you go. So I want to just color a couple of the other medallions that I made. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. We're just going to play around with some colored waxes now. So this one is the wax, and I added gesso on top. So that one's ready to go with glitter. And this one is still a little bit damp. This was with the Porcelaina. So just to keep our white uniform, we want to pick up some of that gesso I have over here on the side. So we don't want to waste that. And get it in there. Now, you know, I mentioned the clay that you can buy in the craft stores, and it comes in different colors. That would be a fabulous way to add a bit of color to these as well. And then this one has pretty much dried, so I think I'm just going to squeeze in a bit of the gel for this one, so it has a little bit more staying power when we get the glitter on. And then after the glitter, we have one more step, and that's with the waxes, and I don't want you guys to miss that. So I'm going to try and hustle here. We're doing two at once. We can mass produce these. And it's okay if your glitter is globby in one spot, or, you know, it's okay. You're coming in with at least 2 or 3 colors, so it's going to have a nice variety. And it's handmade, right? A little imperfection looks great. So we have those on there. And I will tell you, that glitter is pretty much stuck. I can go in there now and wipe some off because the gel is still wet. But once that dries, it's pretty much on there. How pretty is that? So we're going to just set those up. And the one I did, I'm hoping it's dry. We'll zap it just a second. And get out our waxes. Really want to do it. I love the waxes. I think it's the perfect finishing touch to these. It brings in the metallic, and these are amazing. So we're going to use white gold. If you've never used these, oh my goodness, they're addicting. So you can take your finger or a Q-tip or a little sponge, and it warms up on your hand. And then what you want to do is just catch a bit of the design. So our goal here is to help the details on that molded design pop. And I don't want to cover all with the white gold. I'm going to use at least 3 different waxes. So let's go ahead and do the gold. That popped out. This one is vintage gold. And again, it warms up in your hand. I think I love the waxes. I think I said the Doily was my favorite, but now I got a new favorite 10 minutes later. I do like applying these with my finger, but again, I've seen Finnabair take them and put them on her hand so it stays warm, and then she can go in and get a much finer, more controlled application like that. And then you just go back in and rub more. These do not work perfectly with paper because they're a bit waxy, but I noticed that I had no problem adding them to one of our Prima roses. So you'll see on this ornament, the rose has a little bit of wax on it. So let me just show you. Some papers, it can affect it a bit because it is waxy. So test it first. I don't even know if that's clear. If the camera's not clear, I'll try and get the focus to work better once. We'll zoom out here a little. I just want to touch the petals. I don't want to get the whole rose covered. But there you go. That will tie in the wax. So if I add that to the center, it's bringing that metallic look all the way through the design. Oh, these waxes are just amazing. All right, third color is silver, because I went and mixed silver and gold on my Christmas tree. Did anyone else do that? This is a great way to pull it in together and make it look like you did it on purpose. We also have, how many color waxes, Carrie? A ton, right? They're any color you have and any color you want to do, really. We have the waxes for it. So this one is a perfect replica of my original. Each one's going to be slightly different, of course, because you put different wax on differently. But I want to bring in this amethyst magic. Now, the Antique Brilliance waxes have color in them, but they're also antiqued. You can kind of see that right here. Very beautiful. It's soft, it's purpley, but it has a tinge of antique brown. So keep that in mind. And I'm just going to do a flower. Now, again, the waxes weren't really made for paper. You can use them on wood and metal. But just on the tips of these flowers, to add a bit of color, it works really, really well. And these flowers are very well formed. If you haven't played with Prima flowers, they're like the belladonna. They're the premier flowers. They are really well made. They're gorgeous. So let's go ahead and bring that purple into this one. I'm a little scared. Oh my gosh. I thought it might be overpowering because I want a very delicate glitzy ornament here. But look at that. I'm doing a really light touch. And you can see it goes on your finger and it's just touching the very detailed parts of that molded design. Mine is still, I can tell the gesso is a bit wet because it's blending it into a lighter purple. Make sure you dry yours first. Actually, I'm going to go back to this one that was dry, and we're going to just go ahead and do this one. Now that I know how gorgeous that purple is, look at that. And I'm just catching a bit. I don't want to overpower it. I want it to be very soft and delicate, but there you go. It really makes that medallion shine. Look at that. Brings out the focal point. So these other ones, we could easily go in and just do an all gold one. If you just want gold and you really didn't want that silver like Sharon added, and catch just some of the highlights of the design. I especially love that outside pieces, because I feel like this adds such a richness, and it makes it look like, you know, a pretty expensive piece. And really all you got here, this was the hot glue one. What was it, 3 cents? And there you go. Look at that. It's beautiful. And then for this one, what should we do for this one? Now this one's still a bit soft. This is the Porcelaina. So I might set that. Maybe we'll just do that one silver and not put the gold in there at all. Okay, so we have the silver. Oh yes, one of our planner girls, She's amazing. She uses these on her wax seals. Is that what you were talking about? Well, check out our Instagram with our My Prima planner, because she has ideas on there, and I tell you, our teams are just amazing. The gals come up with so many creative ideas. You don't have to get all messy to do a bit of mixed media. You can just add little touches here and there to make one element extra special. Now, someone's asking about the hot glue with furniture. Technically, I wouldn't do that. That's just me, because I feel like furniture is very long lasting, and I don't know how the hot glue would hold up, but I do know our paper clay holds up really well. So hot glue, I kind of cheat and use that for cards, and some of my paper crafts with things that you don't want the weight from clay. And what else do I use? Well, ornaments, of course, because you need these to be lighter on your Christmas tree. And there we go, girls. And guys, if there are guys. I never got these painted, but now I got a couple more to play with. And I think they all turned out really well. So have fun. We basically used our molds, our doilies, some dies, and then we added in some fun little shakes of glitter and some waxes, and then bits and baubles from Memory Hardware, of course, because you need bits and baubles. So that's it. If you guys have questions, go ahead and pop them into the chat, and I'm gonna wrap this up. We do have the full tutorial with all the products on prima.typepad.com. And there's a little video on our redesign group. If Carrie wants to link into there, you can go there and find more ideas on how to use these products for furniture and lots of different ideas. So thank you for joining me. Happy holidays. I hope you guys take these ideas and use them for teacher gifts or just for yourself. All right, catch you guys later. Bye-bye.